Next to me is the all-new Bronco Raptor, and it is the coolest off-road vehicle you can buy from a dealership. It's wider, more powerful, and quite simply put, way more badass than the standard Bronco. So what is it like to drive, and is it worth the $80,000 price tag? Today, we're gonna find out exactly that. The Raptor is more than just an engine upgrade. It's a holistic overhaul from the inside out. Just take a look at these widened fenders, for instance. The Raptor is 9.8 inches wider than the standard Bronco, which gives it one of the most ridiculous on-road presences of any vehicle. Now, below those fenders are enormous 37-inch tires. That's right, it comes with 37s from the factory. And behind those are 3.1-inch Fox shocks finished in bright orange to let you know there's some special suspension underneath the vehicle's chassis. And what's more, if the ground clearance of a standard Bronco wasn't enough for you, we've got an extra 4.5 inches of ground clearance for a total of 13 inches. Under the hood of the Raptor is a 3-liter twin-turbocharged V6, making 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. Now, interestingly, Ford doesn't use the 3.5-liter EcoBoost from the F-150 Raptor. It's actually a 3-liter, and that's a good thing. This engine sounds throatier, sounds meaner, and more powerful, despite the fact that it's got a little bit less horsepower than the Raptor F-150. Now, that makes 90 horsepower more than the standard Bronco in fully upgraded trim with the largest engine you can get. And it can also go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 6.3 seconds. Sure, it doesn't have a V8, but this V6 sounds really good. The front end and hood of the Raptor have some impressive upgrades over the standard Bronco. For one, we've got this enormous Ford logo, instead of actually saying Bronco on the front, that has vents in it for additional cooling. One of the most important parts for this vehicle when off-roading in the hot desert is heat extraction. And they've done so in a visually striking and very effective way with this massive hood vent. We've got vents coming from all different angles. It's finished in matte black. It honestly looks really, really cool. And then if you come around to the side and look really closely, they've got a little Easter egg here. There's 4 different years imprinted, representing the 4 years that the original Bronco won some important off-road racing. We've also got these heat extraction vents on the side that look like something out of an AMG GT Black Series. Seriously, the visuals of this Bronco are unbelievable. The Bronco Raptor only comes in 4-door form with a hard-top roof, although all of the doors and the roof panels are removable for a more fun open-top experience. Now, we've got this side step here. However, it is actually removable if you're worried you're going to damage it while rock crawling. And I love the fact that we've got this metal side guard to prevent rocks from damaging the side skirt. Underneath the gas cap door, look at that. Original Bronco, new Bronco, and a Bronco Raptor. I love that. The rear of the Bronco is dominated by the massive 37-inch spare wheel. Now, thankfully, the backup camera is located right in the center here. If it was in the location of like a G-Wagon up here, you probably wouldn't be able to see anything at all because of the rear tire. Now, as cool as it looks, it does make your rear view visibility absolutely atrocious. But trade-offs, I think I'd take the 37s. Now, coming down here, you'll notice the tailpipes aren't sticking out like the F-150 Raptor. They're kind of tucked away and hidden. That's so if you're going up a really steep incline, the tailpipes don't drag or catch on anything. Now, we've also got a reinforced tow hook. It can actually tow 1,000 pounds more than the standard Bronco. Coming up to the taillights, you'll notice these are larger and more extruded than the standard Bronco. That's because for legal reasons, they have to be able to be seen from certain angles, and this tire is so big it would block them if they were more recessed. Now, there is actually a lot of storage space in the back of the Raptor as well. Really premium feel to this rear door, and it can also stop in multiple different locations, as well as go past 90 degrees. When I first hopped inside the Bronco Raptor, I was immediately impressed. It actually feels pretty high quality in here. I love the thicker leather-wrapped steering wheel. It's got this nice tactile feel to the leather. We've got carbon fiber accents as an option. We've also got paddles mounted behind, which attach to the 10-speed automatic gearbox. This Bronco's been equipped with a $2,300 Lux package, which comes with Bang & Olufsen sound system, a heated steering wheel, active cruise control, and more features. The bolsters have been enlarged on the seat themselves. I love the embossed Raptor logo, and can either come in either marine grade vinyl or leather. The cool part about the marine grade vinyl is if the car gets absolutely filthy with mud, you can spray it down with a hose and don't have to worry about damaging your interior. On the dash, there's a really nice 12-inch touchscreen display with excellent graphics and different bits of information for off-roading. If we click this camera button here, when you're in certain off-road modes, you can actually see a whole bunch of different views while you're driving, which is super helpful, and we'll go into that more in a bit. There's also some really cool little details, like this Ford emblem that actually is shaped like the front grille of the Bronco. We've also got a little American flag logo on the gear selector. If we come over to the steering wheel, there are tons of different controls and levels of customizability. If we click this, you can change the exhaust modes to 4 different settings. Sport mode sounds the best. You can customize the suspension settings as well as the steering feel. And then R mode, you can fully customize and pre-program your favorite mode. Down here in the center console is where you're gonna find the most important controls. You've got the window switches right here, and you've also got the side mirror controls, which have been located in the center because the doors are removable. In a Wrangler, when you remove the doors, the mirrors come off with it, so you have to have an aftermarket solution. This is a pretty cool solution to that. Now, this is the most important dial in the entire vehicle, and it also has a hilarious name, GOAT modes. No, it's not the greatest of all time. It actually goes over any terrain. Check out what happens when I turn this dial right here. The graphics on the instrument cluster are really, really cool. So if we go over to normal mode, off-road, check out what happens in Baja mode. Really cool graphic on the screen. It'll also bring up that display camera as well. Before we take this thing out on the street and talk about what it's actually like to live with in 99% of scenarios where people aren't likely to take this off-road every single day, I want to push it through its paces and do some, for me, intense off-roading. I'm sure it's much more capable than what I'm about to demonstrate, but we're going to go up some pretty darn steep inclines at Hungry Valley Off-Road Park. Now, I'm going to take the GOAT mode selection and put it into off-road mode, and I'm going to put the vehicle into 4 low, manual mode, and off we go. There's a series of controls up here that are rubberized, so you can use them if you've got gloves on or the interior is super dirty. One is called the stability bar disconnect. So there's an electronic control to actually disconnect the stability in the front to allow for much more wheel actuation and maneuverability crawling on rocks. We've also got 2 different locking differentials, a locking differential in the front and a locking differential in the rear. What's the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of a differential is to allow one wheel to spin at a different speed than another wheel. When going around a corner, that's important because the outside wheel is actually traveling a farther distance than the inside wheel. However, if you're going up a steep incline or you're going through the mud, you don't want to have one wheel spinning at 100 miles an hour and the other wheel not spinning whatsoever. We've also got a traction control button here as well. Now below that is a 12-inch display. That's great for your traditional multimedia controls and whatnot, but my favorite part is it's a massive camera screen. So you can click this little camera button here in the center of the dash, and up pops a display that shows in front of me while I'm driving. Now, if I'm going up a steep incline, like I'm about to do here, it's really, really helpful because when you're at a large incline, you can't see in front of the vehicle, but this allows you to see where your eyes can't. So we're gonna go ahead and summit this pretty gnarly off-road section here and see what the Bronco Raptor is all about. With that massive amount of ground clearance, the thing I like is it makes easier off-roading sections a lot less scary. So because we've got so much ground clearance, you're not worried about scratching those wheels or damaging your side skirts because it's so high off the ground. The capability of this is absolutely ridiculous, just plowing through the steep off-road section. And I'm sure I could probably be going a lot faster. But as we get to the top of this crest, I'm really going to be using that camera because it's at such an angle where I can't see in front of the vehicle, and there could be a 1,000-foot cliff on the other side, and I wouldn't know. But with this camera system, I will. We'll go ahead and drop off the edge there. I mean, light work for the Bronco Raptor. Now, there is another set of controls called Trail Turn Assist, and I really like this feature. The Bronco is a big vehicle, and it's very wide, but the turning radius is absolutely insane. Watch this. If I click Trail Turn Assist, it's actually going to apply the brakes to the inner wheels and reduce my turning radius by 40%. I mean, it's basically spinning around that one rear tire, and has a better turning radius than any car I can really think of. I mean, we're basically just turning on a dime right now, like doing a mini donut, but we're not breaking traction. I think that is so awesome. All right, let's go through some other off-road sections. Maybe take it through a creek in a bit. Probably leave that for the point of view drive so that it's not quite as muddy when I start that video. Now, one thing I do really like about the Bronco Raptor is how damn good it sounds. The F-150 Raptor sounds okay, but this 3-liter compared to the 3.5-liter makes a big difference in my opinion. This thing is an absolute monster off-roading. And what I really like about the Bronco as opposed to the Jeep, now it is cool that the 392 comes with a V8. I do wish that maybe they make a Bronco Raptor R and put a V8 in it, because obviously that's got the soundtrack advantage. But this thing drives so much nicer on the actual pavement than the Wrangler does. It's got a little less road noise than the Wrangler. It feels like the build quality is a lot higher. And it doesn't feel like you're driving some off-road tank. This is nuts. It feels a lot more like you're driving a Raptor than you're driving some sort of off-road Jeep. Wow. I mean, those were some deep pits that I just went through. This thing is so damn awesome. The seats themselves are really comfortable. The bolstering is actually very nice. It's not over bolstered so that it's uncomfortable when you're on the road, but it's bolstered enough to where you're going over these big rock sections and you're tilting to the side, and it just holds you in the seat so well. Like I mentioned earlier, the visibility out the rear is not the greatest because of that spare tire, but having a spare tire is really nice, especially when you're out here off-roading. Now, in general, you shouldn't really off-road alone, so I do have my girlfriend hidden away in the back seat, because if you do get stuck, it's obviously nice to have somebody else, and it's nice to have a spotter for really difficult off-road sections. If you can't see in front of you, you can drop somebody off and they can search around and they can guide you through tight sections or really steep sections. Now let's go through some whoop-dees here. That extra suspension travel. This thing is an absolute riot. Let's turn traction control off and do some drifts. Advanced track off. And here we go. That is freaking epic. Honestly, I'm having too much fun on the off-road sections out here that I don't even want to drive it back to the on-road sections, but I'll try to find a slightly smoother area to talk a bit about what it's like to drive on the road itself. But guys, seriously, is it worth $80,000? Absolutely. Is it as luxurious on the inside as maybe another SUV you could buy for 80 grand? No. But what other SUV looks this cool and is this capable off-roading? And honestly, when I passed by a couple of standard Broncos today and you really see that width difference, also that Raptor graphics package is really cool, those widened fender flares, everything about it just looks so purpose-built and mean. But for the 99% of people who don't take it off-road, at least it will be the coolest looking mall crawler possible. But seriously, it is so fun off-roading. Please, if you get one of these and you're lucky enough to find one, yeah, take it off-road. We've got some on-road creature comforts as well. Active cruise control, so it can speed itself up and slow itself down in the lanes. We've got nice cup holders here. We've got a variety of different charging ports. I like the fact that they actually put both a USB and USB-C charging port in it. A lot of cars have gone fully USB-C, so if you've got the old cable, it doesn't work, or some cars just have the USB, but you want it to be faster and use the USB-C, it's nice that they have both of those. Also, Bang & Olufsen sound system sounds fantastic, always has, one of the best speaker systems in the business. Now, it does have a fair amount of wind and road noise, I'm not gonna lie there, Likely because you can remove all of the panels. It's a small price to pay for the ability to basically have a convertible off-roading golf cart and take off all of the doors. But if you are commuting long distances on the highway every day, just know that you will get some extra noise coming into the cabin from the wind. I love this thing. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. Woo! I look forward to seeing you next video.
My gravity.